Do you need to know design or coding to be a UX researcher? No, with an asterisk. Stay tuned to find out why. What is up, lovely researchers? It's Kevin. Welcome back to another video. And do you need to know design or coding? This is a really common question that I see all the time on Reddit, all the time on Quora. I get this question a lot. When I was trying to get into UX research, I had the same question. I was super confused. And guess what? I actually went out and learned design and coding. But does that mean you need to? No. When I was trying to get into UX research, I learned how to design. I learned Balsamiq. I used Sketch, InVision, Figma. I've learned these tools to design. And on the other hand, for coding, I took graded courses on Java, Python, and C++. I'll post something here. This is like a weekend project I worked on with a friend. The idea was to create a sensor that detects how far an object was in front of it, and it would change the lights. The farther it was, the green light. The closer it got, it would turn yellow and then red. And the idea was to put it into cars to show drivers how to drive more fuel efficiently. And then later on, maybe tack it onto some self-driving software. It never went anywhere. I did these because I'm just a nerd and I like doing these things anyway. But do you need to know coding or design? No. You're probably confused because you went on Google and you Googled what is UX research, and you probably found something that fell under what is UX design or the UX design process. And then user research fits under the UX design process. By the way, a lot of these diagrams or graphics will show user testing. That's not true. You're not testing the user, you're testing the product. It's called user research. So try and stay away from that term, user testing. And I find that really unfortunate that it's called UX design, which makes people think you need to know how to draw or do design work or know how to Photoshop, which is not true. Your job is not to design. Your job is not to code. Your job is to do research and understand the users, understand the business goals, the research questions, and devise a research plan and methodology to answer those questions. So your expertise should be, do I need to interview? How many people? Why? Usability testing, surveys, conjoint analysis, and you should be able to analyze this data and determine whether it's significant or not. So that is your focus. But as a UX researcher, you should know the language. What do I mean by this? Let's think of it this way. Pretend that I'm a freelance consultant and I'm gonna do a project with a car company. Okay, I'm a freelance consultant. I don't need to know how to build a car. That's the engineer's job, or the mechanic in this case. I don't need to know how to design the car. That's the designer's job. As the researcher, I'm here to understand where that car fits in. Do users need it? What do they need? And how can we make the experience better for them? That is your job as a researcher. But let's imagine I went into the car company not knowing the language. Let's say I don't know what an unequal length header is, catalytic converter. I don't know what a spark plug is. I don't know what the radiator is. I don't know what the steering wheel is. How am I supposed to communicate with these stakeholders? You see what I'm getting at? You don't need to build the car. You don't need to design it, but you should at least understand the language. Between design and coding, while you don't need to know the formal things, right? You don't need to know how to do a for loop or a while loop or what a recursion is. And you don't need to know color theory or contrast or stuff like that. I think it's still important to know. Between these two, I would focus on design. I would focus on understanding the design world. If the designers are talking to you about contrast or above the fold, below the fold, what an avatar is, what the copy should be for the CTA, what should the landing page look like? Will the users resonate with this avatar? Is this too much white space? The hamburger menu, the 3-dot, Figma, Sketch, prototype, wireframe. Do you need a low, medium, or high fidelity prototype for this testing? What's the user journey here? If none of those things make sense to you, that's okay. Comment down below if you want to know what they mean. I can make videos about them. If you're fine not knowing, you can still do your research job without it. But you're watching this channel, which makes you a badass UX leader, not some regular ass UX person. And a leader understands how to speak the same language. as your users, as your stakeholders, so you can be on the same page. So in summary, you do not need to know how to draw, design, or code, but I still recommend you to understand the language so that when you're speaking with these stakeholders, you know exactly what they're talking about and they see you as someone who understands it, and you can build that rapport and relationship with them. If you like this video, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. Comment down below if you want to know what those UX jargon words are. I can make videos about those. I also make videos on all things UX research related to help you become the most badass UX leader. Mad love. Peace.